Good morning. Good. So, so this morning, Cam, we're going to arrange groups of two, okay? Or whoever's in charge over there. And we're going to go over some of the stuff that we need to in order to have a good base. Okay? In order to have a good base. Let's put the chairs together like they were. They're hooked together for a reason. Hooked together. There we go. Good. Yes, literally you are. So the idea of doing this program is, like I told you guys on Monday, that January is a date, is a period in which a lot of people all around the world invest in themselves. If you think about the health industry, we can think about food. So you can have a Chips Ahoy cookie, but now suddenly in January, you can see in places where you buy cookies, protein-based cookies. Without sugar, whey protein. So the protein that you and me take, they add some weird shit that is not with calories, and now it has this consistency. They bake them, and now you have a protein cookie. If you go to the Nike, Reebok, Marshalls, I don't know, Ross, you're gonna find that shorts, training shirts, sport shoes are lower in price. Gym tuitions, pay $1 and the first month for free. So the health industry receives a lot of money, and we are in that industry. We are part of that industry because a lot of people begin with diets, plans of how they're going to be more healthier, and something happens, give or take, by the 15th. By the 15th of January, I can bet this pinky that 75%, 80% of the people quit. They begin to create very rational and very good excuses to stop going to the gym, to go back and eat weird shit. Why? Because they are victims of their brain. So if somebody is watching a movie and they're immersed in the movie and they do like this, which mind is in the movie? Is in the movie. The conscious or the unconscious mind? Is in the movie? It's in the movie. How do you know? Exactly. Where their attention is where their conscious mind is, right? Dr. Bandler says your conscious mind is like you're in a cave, pitch black, and where you put the flashlight, that's where your conscious is. Unconsciously, there's a lot of things also. So while you're looking at me on the left with your peripheral vision, you're watching the whiteboard. You're watching the window behind me. Since you entered, you have been listening to the air conditioning and the music. You have been feeling your ass on the chair, unless you have too much plastic, right? You have a sense here and a taste, water, coffee, tea, eggs, whatever. So our five senses are working 24/7. So when somebody decides to make a change so they can get healthier, and healthier is a big nominalization that we need to denormalize so we can use each piece in order to help them. Because if their conscious mind is watching the movie, obviously, which mind is doing this for them? The unconscious mind. Somebody outside having a conversation with the lawyer, 1 hour fighting, and you can count that they smoked 7 Marlboro. When they come in and you ask them how many cigarettes that you have, they're going to tell you, I don't know, 2 or 3. They won't tell you 7 3/4 of the 1/8. Why? Because that is an unconscious process, right? So one of the things that is out there is that people believe weird shit. We believe weird shit, right? But believing in something that is far away of how both of your minds work is in our advantage. How do you say when people say, I'm going to put out to the universe, for example, somebody that has coffee and they put sugar, or even worse, stevia, right? And they say, I decrete to the universe. Do you say that in English also? I decrete it? How do you say it in English?
Declare.
I declare to the universe, I quit sugar. All right? How would you say it, Inca?
I quit sugar.
What?
I quit sugar.
I quit sugar. All right, good. How about you?
I'm not doing sugar anymore.
I'm not doing sugar anymore, which is a very good negative command, so you can do more. How about you? I quit sugar. How about you?
No more sugar.
No more sugar. More sugar. More sugar. More sugar. Right? Paulina?
I cut sugar.
I cut sugar. Good. Blade. How about yourself?
You let sugar go.
I let sugar go. Does Kenya know you're letting her know? Go? She's like sugar. She's my sugar. I cut sugar go with her dog. Good. Soren, how about yourself? I cut the sugar. Over there in the Zoom thing. 2. Good. Fuck you too. He said it in Dutch. Okay. Who else?
Give up sugar.
I give up sugar. Good. So at the end of the day, what you're saying, right, is something based on what you think it works, right? So if I'm talking on the phone and I arrive to my hotel, sit down in the restaurant, and I'm on the phone, it's like, yeah, sit down. Oh, wait a second. Hey, thank you. Bring me an espresso, please. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So, did you do the recordings? Thank you. Uh-huh. Okay. Yes. Okay. Did you edit them? Okay. I don't know. Okay, good. Did you put the background music? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you. What happened with all that bullshit that you said? Because consciously you said, I quit sugar, no more sugar. I'm going to take my coffee without nothing. I'm gonna but that's not how your brain works. That's not how your unconscious mind works. Because when you set a goal, it's like when you put in the GPS of your phone, I'm going here. You do that consciously. 90% of the trip, you don't know how many times you brake, hit the brakes, hit the gas, left turn, turn right. You don't know. So ironically, even though consciously you know where you're going, it's your unconscious mind who drives you there. So people put the name that you want, and by the way, we have guinea pigs for tomorrow. Okay, each one are gonna have one. Okay, Not you, not you. Everybody else, yes, you will. So when you think about it, quitting sugar, coffee, black, it doesn't work like that. Because if we remember how we learn what we learn, we begin in everything as people that are unconscious, incompetent. You don't know that you don't know. When you have a baby and you take them for the pediatrician the first 15 days, right? What's the first thing that he asks or she asks? Is she doing pee-pee good, poo-poo good? And does he or she raise her neck? Because they don't know this is connected. And then a couple of months later, do they roll? Do they begin to crawl? If I tell me in Japanese, you're a handsome motherfucker. Exactly. You didn't know that. So you went from the first level of learning, which is unconscious, incompetent, and competent, what does it mean in NLP? If you're competent, for us it means that you have the skills. You're competent to drive. You're competent to walk, to dress, to brush your teeth, etc., etc., etc. So, since you didn't know that you didn't know how to say in Japanese, you're a handsome motherfucker, and now you know that you don't, now you're in the second level of learning. Now you're conscious and competent. Now I know I'm incompetent. And then you say, okay, I'm gonna learn. So you go to, I don't know, Japanese school and sushi school, you ask, how do you say this? And you begin to practice. In that moment, in your temporal lobes, frontal lobes, millions of neurons that are free begin to create a cortical pathway as you develop that skill, like driving. Again and again and again and again and again and again. The more you practice, the more neurons begin to strengthen this cortical pathway. Until you're driving and somebody asks you, where are we having tonight for dinner? And you're like, I don't know, it could be sushi or pizza. Where is my conscious mind while I'm answering that question? If I tell you, do like this, do like this. Yeah, not only you three, all right? You three, okay? And remember, at what time did you arrive last night? Okay, even though you're doing this, where's your consciousness in order to find the answer? The flashlight went inside because this is where the information is, right? And if I tell you, look at this, do this, all right, do this, okay? And look at my ring, okay? Now, the flashlight is in the outside, but you learned a while ago how to clap. So unconsciously, you're clapping while your conscious mind is in my ring. You get it? Okay, very good. So when you think about it, we are unconscious competent in more than 90% of the things that we do daily. People take for granted all the things that our unconscious mind does for us or against us. That's why we have clients, because people in their mind practice strategies to create anxiety, depression, insomnia, panic attacks, dyslexia. And our job is to fix that through trance, so now we create a new cortical pathway that is more useful for them. So in this seminar, we're gonna go over the basic NLP skills that we need in order to obtain information for us, okay? And the most important thing that we're gonna do this morning is that if I listen to you going down the rabbit hole, you're not doing NLP. You ask a question, a good question, and then you get the answer. If I ask you, how old are you? And he begins, well, you know, my mother and my father, then you're not paying attention to the answer. Because the answer is 51, salud. 54, that's the answer. Okay? So, when Dr. Bandler and Dr. Grinder began, actually Dr. Bandler began before, he started to go to some of Virginia Satir's conferences and sessions. And he, as a mathematical mind, understood that in the language that she was using, when somebody said something, she had kind of like a pattern, but he didn't understand what. But as a mathematician, he understood there was a pattern. It's like, I don't know shit about music, but if I begin, you can say, oh, I can reply that. I can replicate it. You don't know what I'm doing, but you can understand the pattern. And he, when he met John Grinder in the University of Santa Cruz, which is a linguist, he said, come aboard. Let's go. That's why we say Dr. Bandler is the creative genius of NLP and the co-creator. But somebody had to start, right? That's why I'm giving you this piece of history. That's why we say he's the creative genius and co-creator of NLP. It'll be impossible to have NLP without Dr. Grinder. But somebody had to begin, okay? And Dr. Grinder found out that actually she was doing a pattern, but they didn't understand what. So they had to create a model that was created, the meta model. Meta means going beyond. In Spanish, meta is the finish line when you're running. But the finish line, you can go beyond. If not, it will be a brick wall. So you go beyond anything. And when they created the meta model, they created a model that went beyond of everything that was out there. Okay? You guys saw the master of the meta model, Kathleen Laval. Dr. Bandler even says it. I have it recorded in my phone because I asked Kathleen to give what we're going to learn here online when we were doing COVID. And he got me a quote and says, nobody explains in the world better than Kathleen Laval the meta model and the inverse of the meta model. So we have been fortunate enough to learn it from her a couple of times. So we're going to go over the model. Before we begin, all right, we want to remind you that this is you, okay? This is your brain. Nah, this is your brain, right? And we have 5 representational systems, right? We got visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory, okay? So when we're working in NLP, one of the most basic presuppositions that we have is the following. If I ask you, and I want your visceral answer, okay? If you see this, how would you call this in English? A ring, right? It's a ring, okay? So in order to speak and communicate here, I'm speaking English, or I believe I do, okay? And every word or every sound that I'm making, since you were born, you created an association. So if I say, yesterday, I went into my house and the back door was open that goes to the lake, and I saw my son Ivar sitting down in the couch with a crocodile watching TV. In order for you to understand that, your unconscious mind does what it's built to do. Does a transderivational search, an association for each sound, and creates something in your brain so you can comprehend what I said. Hier, je suis arrivé à ma maison et j'ai vu mon fils avec un crocodile et regarde la TV. So if that sound makes sense for you, and for you, you saw something. If you have a fucking clue what I said, so I was talking Martian, right? So this is the basis of how language works. This is the basis. We're working on the book camp. So when you think about this, in order for us to speak a common language, we have to use the sounds that we agreed upon with a generalized description. So when I tell you what is this, in the encyclopedia, we can go and say this is a ring. Now you can go a bit deeper. Oh, it looks like a graduation ring, whatever, but you don't say this is a hawk. Right? You say this is a ring. So with your five senses, everything that you perceive with your five senses, visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, olfactory, or gustatory, is what we call the territory. The territory is everything that we can perceive with our five senses or five representational systems. So you have this that goes into, and when it goes into your brain, obviously we have filters here, right? But once it's here, if I ask you, what did you do this morning when you woke up? Where is that? It's in here. So this is what we call the deep structure. And when you answer me, what did you do this morning when you woke up? She stretched. In order for her to answer my question, she has to go inside in the deep structure and communicate. What she's communicating is what we call what? The surface or superficial structure. But obviously, before she says this, we also have filters here. But the most important thing is that what you have inside is the deep structure, and what you say is the superficial structure. Okay? So this is the basis of the model that Dr. Bandler and Dr. Grinder began to create. So we are in Miami right now. Right there, we have the 87th Street. Here, we have the hotel where I'm staying, Intercontinental. Here you have a small mall where you can go and eat, have a lot, you just cross the street, a lot of small restaurants, whatever time. And then here is the Days Inn. And you go in the hotel, this is kind of a thing, and then you have the pool here. So technically, we're here, right? We're here? Yeah? I don't see you. We're here? Where are we?
We're here.
We're here. What is this? What is this? What do we call what we can perceive with our five senses? The territory. This is the territory. This is a mere or a simple what? Representation of the territory. So this is what we call, when you're lost, or the pirates had a map. This is a map of this territory. So one of the most basic presuppositions of NLP is that the map is not the territory. Why? Because in the territory, we agreed upon, how do we call this? Ring, right? That's it. But it doesn't work like that. Because if I ask you, and believe me, it's hard to offend me. If I ask you, look at this ring. You know it. Okay? And I ask you right now, you see good? Okay. I have something here. Okay, good. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, what is this for you? And don't tell me a ring. I want your opinion.
It's an ornament.
It's an ornament, but you're still talking like you're in Miss Universe. I don't want the beautiful answer. I want your visceral answer.
It's large and it's silver.
You're being nice. I want your internal opinion.
It's big and ugly.
Beautiful. Now we're talking. Because this is the fucking answer that you want from your clients about a lot of stuff. You get it? If they sugarcoat the answer, you're going to work on weird shit that it's not what they need. You get it? For you.
It's you.
It's me. Okay, good. You.
It's a snake.
It's a snake. Okay, good. You.
It's a big crocodile.
It's a what?
Crocodile.
It's a crocodile and it's a dragon. But anyway, the thing is that now you are revealing and understanding one of the most important things of what we're going to learn here. If I tell you, look at my watch. What is this? A watch, right? So, what's your map of this watch for you?
It's functional.
Functional. You're still giving me a Miss Universe answer. You get it?
Yeah. I mean, I like it.
Okay, so I like it. That's it. You.
It looks like you.
It looks like me. You.
It's big and round and gold on the outside.
You're describing it. You're not giving me your visceral answer.
It gets you where you need to be on time.
It gets you where you want to be on time. How about you?
It's big, impressive, and expensive.
Big, impressive, and expensive. Are you being nice or are you literally giving your answer from here? Yes. You were being nice. I don't want you to be nice. I want you to tell me if you see this watch, what's your opinion?
I'm jealous.
You're jealous. Now we're talking. Okay? Okay? Over there, same thing, right? So I have here a can of Coke. Not zero, a can of Coke. All right? In the encyclopedia, it says beverage made of corn syrup with gas and tam pum pam. But that's the description of the territory. What is your map of a Coke?
Coke?
Yeah.
Something to snort? Or give me something?
No, Coca-Cola. He did unconscious installation. He's still with the phonological ambiguities. He's like, it's something that you snort. Okay.
I see a red can.
No, you're describing it.
Okay.
What's the Coca-Cola for you? What is it?
Drink the soft drink.
No. You're describing as an encyclopedia. For you, what's a Coca-Cola?
For me, a Coca-Cola is fucking unhealthy.
Okay, it's fucking unhealthy.
Yeah.
Now we are understanding that you want to find out what's the real map of what I'm asking. I don't want the description of the territory. I want to find out the map that you have of what I'm asking you. Coca-Cola for you is
Poison.
poison,
Poison.
poison, poison, disgusting, yummy,
Killer.
killer.
Liver like sweet and too sweet.
Is too sweet for you. Huh? Junkie drink. For me is hamburger. People that know that, when I had my hamburger, I had a Coke. When I was in Baton Rouge. Lafayette, I'm sorry. I also had a burger in Baton Rouge. Right? So, Coca-Cola for me is hamburger. That's my map. Right? That's my map. You want to find out what's the fucking real map that the person has on what are we going to work with them. Because if you get an answer like you're Miss or Mr. Universe, well, the Coca-Cola is a beverage that was in the beginning was for cough and that. You're robbing the person because you're going to work on something that is not real. The information that you're getting is useless for you, and you're going to waste their time, your time, and their money. You get it? So let's dive deep a little bit more. If I say Cuban cigar, a Cuban cigar. A Cuban cigar for you is?
It smells
Good or bad?
bad.
Okay, so it smells bad. Over there, write down your answer. For you,
It smells distinct. Distinct smell.
distinct smell. Good or bad? You associate it with money, to poor people, rich people. What is it for you?
Refinement.
Refinement. All right, good. How about yourself?
I love this.
You love the smell of the cigar. How about you? Disgusting.
Distinguished.
Distinguished.
Decadent.
Decadent.
Lung cancer.
Lung cancer. You don't inhale it.
Doesn't matter.
Good. You. Soren. Okay. Associated with a good scotch. Right? I associate it to a gentleman's lunch. Like an England's gentleman club. But that's my map. It's not good. It's not bad. It's my map.
Smoking cigarettes.
Yeah? Simple as that. Okay? Same thing. So now we're going to go even deeper. What's a gym for you?
A fun place.
A fun place. So you're happy. Even though you're sweating like a motherfucker, you're happy. How about you?
Don't want to go there.
Okay, no. Okay, but what is a gym for you?
What is it?
You're thinking about it.
Yeah, I am.
No. Don't think about it. Just fucking answer. What's the gym for you? The
It's
gym.
a horrible place.
That's it. You understand? Good feel. You?
Yeah, it keeps me healthy.
Keeps you healthy. But listen, it keeps me healthy. She didn't say that she liked it or she didn't like it. She said it keeps me healthy. So it's not like I enjoy fucking because it keeps me healthy, or I don't like fucking because I don't want to work. You're not saying if you like it or not. You're just saying that it keeps you healthy. Okay? The gym for you is?
Place where magic happens.
Place where magic happens. Good. Harry Potter over here in the gym. And Juliana, what's the gym? Exactly. She already said like this. Right? Good. So as we work on these type of answers, I want you to understand that you have to begin to use these two devices. In March, Dr. Bandler and John have one of the coolest seminars, Design Human Engine Ears. All right? I want you to use these because you know the description that is kind of like the encyclopedia of what you're asking. You don't want that. You want what's their fucking map. Okay? You want what's their map. In order to obtain that information, I got it. Dr. Bandler and Dr. Grinder developed the meta model. And in the meta model, they have three categories. The first one, generalizations. In the generalizations, we have two flavors. We got one, the universal quantifiers, right? Words that are as big as the universe. Everybody, nobody, every time, never, always, right? So universal quantifiers, as Kathleen says, are usually the language of the teenager. Everybody, mama's going to the party. Nobody in my classroom goes to bed at 8:30. Right? Maybe partners. You always forget our anniversary. Right? So I'm going to explain you in a very simple way how somebody explained me this in a napkin. As you know, we have things that we call timelines. Dr. Bandler and Dr. Grinder began that, and they began to use the word timelines. In the old days, when in the same group, right, were helping out Robert Dilts, the Reese, which were a couple, right? There was a motherfucker called Tad James. That now her second wife, or he's dead. His second wife now runs the Tad James Institute in Las Vegas. And when he was listening to Dr. Bandler and Dr. Grinder talking about this new terminology called timelines, right? He, without saying nothing to them, trademarked timeline and timeline therapy. Even though NLP is now therapy, it's not very well seen in our group. Because if you're with them, you could have said, hey, are you going to trademark this or whatever? Because I want to do it. If they would have said, yeah, go ahead, that's okay. But don't do a rat thing, sneak behind and do those kind of things. All right? So if this is the timeline, this is a timeline, all right? This is each episode in the same context, all right? So I have a 10-year-old girl named Sabrina, and Sabrina will tell me, Dad, you always make me run on Sundays. Think about it. What is the universal quantifier? Always, right? And the context is? And the context is? Running on? So in her mind, right? This is a Sunday, 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 and this is a Sunday. And she ran, run. Right? In her mind, she is trapped in this timeline in order for her to say this. The reality is a little bit different. Because in the real timeline, she ran, she didn't. She ran, she didn't. She ran, for example. So this is the real timeline of events of your life in the context of running on Sundays. When somebody uses a universal quantifier, they're creating in their mind a parallel timeline in which this is the only thing that exists. So for example, my wife tells me we never celebrate our anniversary. So this is the real life, and this is what she is living or seeing in her mind. 25th of August of 2020 something, nothing. In real life, it's true. No. In real life, maybe we did, and that's it. But when you're using a universal quantifier, I want you guys to understand that that person is trapped in this parallel timeline that they have created. That's why they're using the universal quantifier. You always forget to bring bread. You forgot. No. You brought it, but you're trapped. Okay? You're always late. Late. Early, and early. This is just a mere representation. You get it? So when Virginia Satir listened to one of her patients use a universal quantifier, she intuitively, in her mind, kind of like understood this, even though nobody taught her. So she would ask two types of questions. Dad, you always make me, my dad always makes me run on Sundays too. And Virginia will listen to the universal quantifier, which was, and she will give it back in form of a question. And she will ask, always. And since she had rapport with the person, because the presupposition of our work is that even before we ask, what do you want, why you're here, da ba ba, we build rapport. Right? We're going to do some exercise for rapport building. So once you have rapport, right? Very good. Then that's when you would begin to work. So since she had rapport and she said, my father always makes me run on Sundays, and she's like, always? And usually when you give the universal quantifier back, since you have rapport, the person has to go for the exception. Well, no, one time we didn't go running, we went on a kayak. And now this parallel timeline implodes, disappeared. So when you hear the universal quantifier, you can give it back in form of a question. The second way in which she challenged the universal quantifier is that she asked directly this question. Tell me one time on a Sunday you did something different of running. So she asked directly for the exception. And she was like, oh no, yeah, one time we were traveling. And one time I was sick. And one time, so now this disappears. It implodes. So you can move on. This is not the solution. This is part of a big fucking thing that you're building with your client so you can move on. Okay? We're good? So the first exercise that we're going to do is that you're going to work with the person beside you. All right? With the well, yeah, you work with them. So with the person beside you, and I want you to use universal quantifiers of things that you usually do. I always get up early. I always drink coffee in the morning. I never enjoy going to the gym. All right? And you're going to just practice. You're going to just practice, or you give back the universal quantifier, or you ask directly for the exception of what they're universally quantifying. All right? Let's go. Come on, let's go. Groups of two. Hey, okay. 3 minutes. Hey, the camera.